Hello.
Right.
Here we are, the energy update for April. Welcome, Jeremy Bills from Create with Jay.
Hi. God help us.
I, it's such a weird energy. I feel so much energy, but then there's
Hmm.
this slight hesitation.
Hmm.
Like, I don't know what to say. I don't know where to look. I don't know what to do. And we were like talking just briefly before we came on, really just trying to wrap our heads around this energy that we're in and that we're stepping into.
Yeah.
And like, let's just be real. Let's just hit record. Let's just
Yeah.
share where we're at. And
Yeah.
I think one thing that you just pointed out is I think you're experiencing the energy of the dragon.
Yeah.
And I think you're
Yeah.
right. So we're going into a Yangwood dragon beginning
Hmm.
April 5th through May 4th.
Yes.
So what are you sensing with this energy, or what are you seeing like in clients, or I mean we see it
Well,
on TV.
first of all, I've got a question for you. Tell us what all of the emotions that are wrapped up in Youngwood. What are those emotions
Okay,
that come?
that's a great place to start. So Yangwood energy is like the forest. It's very active and it's thunder. In the I Ching, it's connected to thunder. So it's, what was that?
Yeah.
Is there a storm coming? Is it brewing? Is it getting close? How close is it? Because when we were kids, we would count. That's how many
Yeah.
miles away the lightning strike was.
And then you jump when you hear
Also,
the.
yeah, and
Yeah.
that thunder also brings lightning, which brings light in the darkness, right? It exposes, like, oh my gosh, this is where we're at. It's anger, it rules the liver. So being able to filter, edit, our ourselves, rid ourselves of toxic energy. That's what the liver does. It's a very active energy because it's so much. So think of like being in the forest. Like you might stand in the middle of the forest and think, "Oh, this is so relaxing. It's so peaceful." But there's roots that are moving. There's leaves that are rustling about in the wind. The trees are communicating. So it's a very ADHD, overly active, easily distracted
Yeah.
energy.
Yeah. And what is the only element that is alive? It grows.
Yep.
So it's almost like it has a mind of its own, and you don't know where it's going to go next.
Mm,
And that's why I think we're feeling that kind of anxious feeling of what's going to happen, what's coming. And
yeah.
then you throw the dragon into the mix.
That damn dragon.
Oh my gosh, crazy.
Yeah, because the dragon is the only animal of the Chinese zodiac wheel that does not have a physical manifestation. He's a mythical creature. So he is questioning authority, he is breaking the rules. He wants us to step outside of our parameters, our limited brains, our muggle world, the mundane, and really see things from a different perspective.
Right.
And so that combination together is a little bit like, oh gosh, what does this mean?
Yeah. Then you throw in the tiger, which is the animal of the year.
Yeah.
And that combination can be really, since the dragon is detached from earth, it never sets its feet on the ground, and we have this tiger which is unpredictable. It has everyone on edge.
Mhm.
Everyone's feeling that things that are really unpredictable are happening out in the world right now. There's no way to kind of track what's going to happen next.
Yeah. I was just going to say that it's really a tough energy to predict. When we can look at the Doppler radar and see when the storm is coming and where it might go. But how many
Yeah.
times, like us sitting here in the Salt Lake Valley, do we get told that it's going to be a snowstorm and we wake up going, "Where's the snow?"
Oh, yeah.
And it kind of
Well,
feels like
yeah.
that.
It does. And I was telling one of my clients the other day, I was doing a reading and she was like, I wish I could get a little bit more specific on what's going to happen. And I said, astrologers cannot tell you the exact details of what's going to happen, but we can tell you when the storm's coming and when you need an umbrella.
Mm,
And there's a storm this month. That's all
yeah.
I can say. So bring an umbrella. We don't know what the storm's going to look like. We don't know where it's going to hit. All we know is something's going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, and that dragon energy, it really is the bridge between heaven and earth. And
Mhm.
so I always, it's challenging as, everybody I'm sure has a dragon person in their life, somebody who has a dragon in their chart. And as challenging as that energy might seem, they're really here to teach us to detach, to
Yep.
not be so stuck in or connected to a certain belief or a situation that we really need. Whenever I'm talking about this stuff, I don't know what it's like for you. I'm so visual that I'm like in nature, like I'm seeing the trees and I'm seeing, like the dragon fly way up high. And the dragon has the ability to see the bigger picture. He's like, "Oh,
Mhm.
you silly people. Why are you freaking out over this? Because this is where you're going."
Yeah.
And it's such a profound time, and that dragon energy is so cool because it has so much to teach us. And so, if we can be curious, sit back, and tune in, I think we could really learn a lot about ourselves and where we're going in the bigger picture of things. Now,
Yeah.
2024 will be a dragon year. That's going to be a huge, it'll also be a young wood dragon year.
Yep.
So this month will be a little taste, possibly, of the power of the storm
Yeah.
that we're in. The storm is
Yeah.
here. So on a Western, do you have anything else on the Eastern perspective?
No, that was great. Everything I agree.
Okay. Well, you did bring up though before we hit record that the eighth star is flying into the southeast. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah. Yeah, so the 8th star is the star of wealth, and it's
Mm-hmm.
moving into the wealth sector. So that's going to be kind of an interesting thing. So money and personal possessions are going to be a theme for the month of April. So
Mm-hmm.
be watching that. Be watching for opportunities, be watching for changes in the economy, things like that.
Yeah, and I think it's important to remember that that southeast sector where the dragon lives is also about your self-worth.
Ah, yes.
It's that third chakra, it's that
Hmm.
solar plexus, it's our command center, really being able to navigate the world from this place. And so, not only like pay attention to your southeast sector, make sure it's clean, give it some life, bring some plants in there and some sunlight and that kind of thing. But also, meditate and feel. Just close your eyes and feel your gut. Feel that whole core of your body to see where you're well or if you're not. Is your gut churning? Do you feel bloated? Is it enlarged because we're trying to protect ourselves? A lot of times it's like that the layers of the onion, we put up weight around our middle, to protect ourselves, to not be seen. So it's a great time to do that reflection, especially in the dragon month, which is about the mystical and the magical arts.
Yeah, that's
So
perfect.
what about money in or anything related to the Western astrology system?
So there's a lot going on in Western astrology this month. First of all, we just recently had Mercury, the planet of communication in our mind, move into the sign of Aries, which is kind of easily distracted. But Aries is also the god of war. So a
Oh,
lot of people
jeez.
with Mercury and Aries say things without thinking about them. I have Mercury and Aries. And also, we have Saturn, which is the planet of restriction and responsibility in the sign of Aquarius, which rules electronics, computers, connecting online. And it's going to be conjunct or right next to Mars, the planet of forward movement, war, and aggression, both in the sign of Aquarius. So there's going to be some real big tension in the skies this month. So it's going to be really important to do what the dragon would do and disconnect from things that are going to bring you down,
Mm-hmm.
kind of rise above it. That image that you spoke of earlier of seeing the dragon flying above the trees, flying above the forest. If we can all access that and disconnect from the negativity going on, that's going to be the key for this month.
Yeah. Is there any concerns about, money or, security systems, that kind of thing?
Well, Aquarius is what rules anything online. So online banking,
Okay.
social media, computers, anything like that. And when you have this combustion or conjunction in the sky of a really aggressive Mars energy and Saturn, which is restriction, it comes together and it creates that friction. So, I mean, me and my husband were talking about this the other day. Do we take some of our money out of the bank? Do we just wait to
Mm-hmm.
see what's going to happen? There's no way to know what's going to happen. And yeah, yeah,
I mean, that's a good point because as you're saying that, I'm seeing people standing in line in Ukraine or Russia, waiting to just trying to get money out because the systems are shutting down. Whether
yeah,
it's a cyber attack or it's a forceful, we're not doing business anymore. It's just so challenging to predict this time, and we're not saying this stuff to put a panic in anybody.
no,
I always perceive this information as it's empowering, it's insightful, it helps guide us. And, yes, for the most part, money's secure. There's insurance policies and stuff with that, with banking, and you can recover that money. But just to have cash, right? If you do need to get gas or, buy groceries or something, it might be something worth considering. I know my husband and I were looking at a generator, you know, in Costco the other day, thinking about, is that something that we need to invest in? It's
right.
it's it's uncertain times, not only
Uncertain
with
times.
human interactions, but with the climate and
Mhm.
the storms that are brewing.
Well, I love that you said storms because the cool thing about storms is they always end. There's always an end to the storm.
You're
We
right.
need to keep that in mind while we're in this storm right now.
Mm-hmm.
There's a storm brewing everywhere on the planet, and we need to remember that there's always going to be an end to the storm. So
Mm-hmm.
just hang on. Bring your umbrella, see what happens, stay alert, try
Mm-hmm.
to detach from the things that are pulling you down, and just weather the storm.
It's such solid, good advice. And slow down so that you can plan
Yeah.
ahead and not
Yeah.
reacting, quickly and then yet running into the storm.
Yeah, and that's that wood energy that we're talking about. Wood energy is kind of that, oh, that kind of
Mm-hmm.
jolt when you see the thunder, or when you hear the thunder, or see the lightning. Wood energy is also about connection. So the more that we can connect with people rather than
Mm-hmm.
fighting with them, the better.
You're right. It's the element of compassion.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So, are you going to pull a card for today?
I sure.
I like it when you pull cards.
I totally forgot to pull my cards out. Oh, there's one. Ah, interesting. The Diamond Dreamer.
Oh.
This is about material wealth and true prosperity. So let's focus on that 8 star. Let's focus on the 8 star and focusing on what it is that we bring and perceive as value. Do we find ourselves valuable? Do
Mm-hmm.
we put ourselves first? Do we find our friends and family valuable?
Mm-hmm.
Are we doing everything that we can to protect our own assets? Are we
That's
making smart decisions?
mm-hmm. Brilliant. I love this. Any final words before we head out?
Get your popcorn. It's going to be an interesting show.
Yeah, tap into into your intuition. Let the
Yeah,
dragon wake up your inner dragon, because we all have that inner dragon, and it's for many of us it's sleeping, and the
yeah.
dragon is here to wake that up and remind you who you are. You are
Mhm.
not your attachments to this world. You are far beyond that, and we're just riding the storm, riding the
Yep.
ride in the storm. Isn't that REO Speedwagon song? Riding
Yeah,
the
I think
storm
so.
out. That's gonna be my theme song for the month.
I love it.
All right, my friend, thanks so much for your insights. I
Thank
love
you.
you.
Love
And
you.
connect with Jeremy and I in the comments below, or look us up if you want a reading. Book a reading. Readings are very powerful. And powerful. That's a new word I just made up.
It's a good one. I like that.
Take care, everybody. Go ride your dragon.
Okay. Bye bye.
Bye.